Shift into turbo. That's right. I'm back with my review for Power Rangers Turbo. What many people consider the single worst Saban-era Power Rangers season. Not the worst Power Rangers season ever, because it did a lot, but I'm not there yet. So, as I said, we're shifting into Turbo. So we start with the 3-part episode, Shift into Turbo, which deals with the Power Rangers graduating high school. And what's Divatox's plan? She wants to mess up the Power Rangers graduation because they messed up her wedding.
Because,
yes, a main villain of the series wants to basically say she wants to mess up the Power Rangers graduation by making them miss it. This is our villain for the season, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, because, villains do that.
And on top of that, she does it by setting detonators. But the thing about these detonators is she doesn't have enough common sense to set them for, a minute. She sets them for 60 minutes. Now, it wouldn't take... Now, logically, that would give the Rangers more than enough time to find that detonator and stop it. But she always does it. Now, added to the stupidness, to the pure stupidity of the season, to start off, Bulk and Skull, while investigating a disturbance at the annual power plant, are discovered by Eldar, Divatox's nephew, who is by far the single worst character I've seen up through the 7 seasons I am currently on, and I've seen 6 of the 7 all the way through. He's the worst idea. And Eldar turns Bulk and Skull into monkeys. Yes, our comedy duo who are legends to people our age, who grew up watching Power Rangers, have to start the first half of this season as monkeys. And they come up with various ideas to try to get people to recognize them, even though all they need to do is just get a piece of paper and say, "We are Bulk and Skull. Help us." This is a very easily solvable problem. And then to really make matters worse, Eldar gets punked out by an unmorphed 12-year-old Justin, the Blue Ranger. So, I'll get into my thoughts of Justin when I get into my Ranger thoughts, which I'll be able to give because there's more than one new Ranger this time around. So, also during this shift into Turbo, there's a wormhole that Zoran and Alpha have to go into because Zoran is going back to Eltar and Alpha is going back to Edenoi. And they are replaced by 2 people who I despise. Well, one that I kind of like and the other that's utterly, utterly annoying. They are replaced by Demetrius from the planet Inquirus, so she only speaks in questions. Okay, I guess that's fine. But here's the biggest thing. The single biggest annoyance in Power Rangers Turbo. Alpha 6 and its jive New York accented voice, while Alpha 5 was annoying going, ay, 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 ay. Yo, 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 yo. This guy, Alpha 6, is going, yo, 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 like some, I don't know, like he's some ghetto, like he's from the ghetto or something. Robots don't live in the ghetto. The ghetto doesn't know what robots are. Okay. Anyway, the Rangers destroy a monster, and by the way, this is also another thing. Guess how Divatox makes her monsters grow? Not with a wand like Rita, not by throwing a smoke capsule like Zed, or combining them like Zed and Rita for Season 3, or even like Mondo when he had Clank and Orvis do it. Oh, no, no, no.
Torpedoes!
He fires torpedoes at these monsters and they grow. Torpedoes. Homing torpedoes out from the sea to a monster. Ah! Ugh. Anyway, there's a lot of filler episodes, and then we get to Passing the Torch, a 2-part episode, which actually is one of the better episodes of the season, being a lot less corny. But essentially, all the Rangers except for Justin are replaced. Now in reality, only JDF and Catherine Sutherland, who played Tommy and Kat, were thinking about leaving the show. Saban just said, you know what, we're going to replace all of you except Justin. So, out, bye-bye went Adam, who actually was the better of the Black Rangers, and out went Tanya, too, for no logical reason. So we're introduced at first in this to our new Red Ranger, T.J. Johnson, who, as we would find out in another episode, would stand for, the T.J. stands for Theodore J. Jarvis Johnson Jr. He will become the new Red Ranger, and we're also introduced to his friend, Cassie Chan, who will become the new Pink Ranger. T.J. already shows signs of being a true leader by not hesitating to go rescue Tommy, while Cassie's kind of wishy-washy at best at times. So, she does help find Tommy and all that, but... And also, earlier in the season, we also introduced our other two new Rangers, Carlos Veraletti, or however it's pronounced, who will become the new Green Ranger. He's a star soccer player for Angel Grove, although he's a bit of a hot dog and a bit of an egotistical person at first. And we're also introduced to Ashley Hammond, who will become the new Yellow Ranger, who's a cheerleader for Angel Grove. In the end, the Rangers stop the monsters that are there, and then they are able to pass their power. Tommy, as I said, passes his power on to TJ, making TJ a very historic Power Ranger, because TJ becomes the first African-American Red Power Ranger in the history of the series. So, that's very historic. At least it's not unintentional racism like Tommy, the Native American character, being the Red Ranger, or Zach, the black guy, being the first Black Ranger, or Trini, the Asian, being the first Yellow Ranger. At least this is not racist in any way, shape, or form, as you can look at. And he says that TJ was impeccable in leadership or some BS, I don't know. Kat, as I said, Kat passes her powers on to Cassie, but again, Kat never really talked to Cassie or knew Cassie's character about, so, again, Adam passes his power on to Carlos to become the new Green Ranger, and like I said, Carlos has a bit of an ego problem at times. So I wonder about that. Although Adam will know about that, being his soccer coach. And then Tanya passes the yellow power on to Ashley, and quite frankly, the single dumbest thing, because to be perfectly honest, Tanya never talked to Ashley, and for the entire season, with the exception of one line in this episode. So, Justin stays. So yes, we're out of one experienced Ranger team with a whole bunch of rookies and a 13-year-old kid.
11.
No, he was 13. He was 12. Ignore that. These guys are my cousins back here. But,
Dude, you forced us to watch these.
But I told them that if I had to torture myself, they had to torture themselves with this episode too.
And this season
But-
was torture.
Anyway, that brings me to an episode I really don't want to talk about, but I'm going to. The Power Rangers got baked into a pizza in this season. Yes, the Power Rangers get baked into a pizza. A giant pizza. Why are they baked into a pizza? Simple. Divatox loses her memory, ends up working in a pizza parlor. Why a space pirate would be working in a pizza parlor, I don't know. In fact, why would this Divatox even want Earth money? In fact, why would a space pirate like Divatox even want Earth money? Speaking of that, that brings me to the Phantom Ranger saga. And by the way, in case anyone's wondering, no, the Phantom Ranger is not the 6th Ranger in Turbo, in my opinion. I do not consider him the 6th Ranger in Turbo for 2 reasons. Number 1, he's not even around till the finale of Turbo. And number 2, and most importantly, he never passes power on to anybody. And him and Cassie have a romance going, and I don't understand how that can work.
Because one's a phantom and one's a human.
But anyway, if you want my opinion, I would say that in my opinion you could count the Blue Centurion as a 6th Ranger, because he's around for the whole season, and he has his own sword, the Robo Racer. But anyway, the season ends with actually a very good send-off, a very good finale, Chase into Space, which deals with Justin's dad finding a job, and that Justin may have to move, which would obviously mean he can't fulfill his Ranger duties. During a fight with a monster, the Rangers lose both their Zords and their weapons, and are only left with Storm Chaser and Lightning Cruiser, who were introduced in the season, 2 very intelligent cars.
From outer space.
From outer space. A lot of cars in this season. from whether it be the Zords or Storm Blaster or Lightning Cruiser. And by the way, Divatox gets some cars too for Zords. I don't know why, but anyway, at the end, the Power Rangers need to chase. And here's the really odd part about this: Divatox, out of all the villains, is the one who destroys the Power Chamber. Not Lord Zed, you know, the greatest villain in Power Ranger history. Oh no. It's a whiny, petty person with no smarts to set a bomb for a minute, and her dim-witted, cone-headed nephew Elgar, who destroy the Power Chamber with a group of by far the worst foot soldiers in the history, the Piranhatrons.
Stupid name.
So the Power Rangers have to go to Nasada, their form of NASA, to get a space shuttle, and somehow the director of Nasada listens to a 12-year-old kid about the Power Rangers needing help. Anyway, Justin doesn't go with the Power Rangers, and he stays by his dad, and that's how Turbo ends.
No.
The Turbo season itself is utter garbage, although the second half is somewhat better when the Divatox from the movie came there. Now for my Ranger thoughts. As I said, Bulk and Skull were wasted the first half of the season, and then when they were human, when they were turned human again midway through it, their stick is they can't keep a job. Whatever. Whatever.
Let me touch me.
Now for the Rangers themselves. As I said, TJ, I like TJ a lot, actually.
TJ's black!
TJ was one of the, I like TJ a lot. I thought he was a very good replacement for Tommy. In fact, I really wish he would have stayed red when we got to the next season, but I'll get into that with the next season. So I really don't mind TJ. Cassie, while she started out a bit whiny, Cassie proved her mettle and why she was chosen to be a Power Ranger. So I like Cassie. Carlos, as I said, had an ego problem that kind of persisted around.
Kind of an ego problem?
All in all, when it really counted, he was there, and he served his purpose, and he was very good. Ashley, she was your typical Yellow Ranger in some instances, very feminine, very girly. So, Justin, the new Blue Ranger, a lot of people have a problem with, but the fact about Justin is his character's not bad. It's the stories that were centered around him tended to be a bit over the top. Like Carlos asking a 13-year-old for dating advice. Keep in mind, in the show, Carlos is 17 years old, and he's asking a 13-year-old for dating advice. Divatox, pathetic, worst villain ever in the season. She's far surpassed by the two villains who succeed her. I'll get to those two later. Elgar's annoying. Rygog's the meanest looking of those things, and Porto's is just a giant thing that looks like, he looks like a fish in a marshmallow costume or something like that. So that's my thoughts on Turbo. It's the worst Saban era Power Ranger season I have yet watched. Ever that I've yet watched. Is it the worst one I've watched? I'll have to answer that after I watch all of them. So we're done with that. So I'll be back. I'll be back next time when it's time to when we rocket into space. See you then.